What is happening, crypto fans, and welcome back to Bitcoin Bulletin, your ultimate source for the absolute latest and greatest in the digital asset space. The market is moving at warp speed, and if you're not plugged in, you're missing out. Today, we've got a packed show that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. From major institutional plays to bold predictions that are turning heads, we're diving deep into the stories that are shaping the future of finance. Get ready because this is your unmissable download of everything you need to know right now. Let's get into it. First up, we're tracking significant movements in the institutional crypto landscape. We're seeing major outflows from a key digital asset ETF, sparking conversations about profit-taking and strategic reallocations. What does this mean for the broader market, and are we witnessing a shift in institutional sentiment? We break it all down. Then, hold onto your hats, because we've got a prediction from a very prominent figure that Bitcoin is not just going to hit $1 million, but it's a certainty. We'll explore the confidence behind this bold claim and what it could signal for the future trajectory of the world's #1 cryptocurrency. After that, we shift our focus to a nation that's been making waves with its forward-thinking approach to digital assets. El Salvador is doubling down on its Bitcoin strategy, and this time, they're looking to the future with a fascinating quantum-resistant plan. Could this be the blueprint for how governments and institutions secure their digital assets in the years to come? You'll want to hear this. And finally, we're bringing you the inside scoop on a significant corporate maneuver that's set to redefine institutional access to Bitcoin. A major merger is on the horizon, aiming to create a fast track for mainstream exposure. What are the implications of this strategic alliance, and who stands to benefit the most? Stick around for all the details. You won't want to miss a second of this action-packed update. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to Bitcoin Bulletin, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a beat. Institutional shifts emerge amid market fluctuations. Recent data reveals a notable trend of outflows from Ethereum exchange-traded funds, ETFs, signaling a potential phase of institutional profit-taking. This development coincides with increased activity and reallocations into Bitcoin, suggesting a strategic pivot by some major players in the digital asset market. The movement of capital away from Ethereum ETFs, which have seen significant inflows since their inception, raises questions about evolving investor sentiment and the short to medium-term outlook for Ethereum. Analysts are closely watching these outflows to gauge the extent of institutional deleveraging or a simple reallocation of assets to what is perceived as a more stable or higher growth opportunity in the current market climate. This trend is particularly interesting given Bitcoin's own market performance. While Bitcoin has experienced its own price adjustments, the narrative around it remains robust, with many institutions continuing to view it as a primary store of value and a growth asset. The comparison between the two leading cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, is often a focal point for institutional investors. Ethereum's recent performance has been strong, but the current outflows might indicate a pause or a correction phase as investors reassess their positions. The underlying reasons for these outflows could be multifaceted, ranging from macroeconomic factors influencing risk appetite to specific developments within the Ethereum ecosystem itself. Some market participants might be locking in gains after a period of substantial appreciation, while others might be repositioning their portfolios to capitalize on perceived opportunities elsewhere, such as the ongoing institutional interest in Bitcoin. The strength of Bitcoin, despite its own volatility, appears to be drawing capital that might have otherwise been allocated to other digital assets. This dynamic suggests that while the overall institutional interest in crypto remains, the preferred avenues for investment are subject to constant evaluation and adjustment based on market conditions and perceived risk-reward profiles. The strength of Bitcoin reallocations, even amid minor drawdowns, underscores its continued dominance in the institutional investment narrative. This move by institutions could signal a broader strategy of consolidating exposure to the most established digital asset, potentially at the expense of other altcoins, even those with significant market capitalization like Ethereum. The market is closely observing whether this trend is a temporary adjustment or the beginning of a more sustained shift in institutional capital flows. The implications for both Bitcoin and Ethereum are significant, potentially impacting their price action and market dominance in the coming weeks and months. But is this shift just a minor adjustment, or does it point to something bigger on the horizon? We'll be right back with a prediction that's set to shake up the entire crypto world. $1 million Bitcoin prediction echoes through Asia conference. In a bold declaration that has captured the attention of the cryptocurrency world, Eric Trump, son of former U.S. President Donald Trump and a key figure in the Bitcoin mining industry, has confidently asserted that Bitcoin is destined to reach the $1 million mark. Speaking at the prestigious Bitcoin 2025 Asia Conference in Hong Kong, Trump reiterated his long-held belief, stating there is no question that BTC will achieve this monumental price point within the next several years. This prediction comes on the heels of his previous forecast of a $1 million Bitcoin by December 2024, highlighting a consistent conviction in the digital asset's exponential growth potential. Trump's remarks underscore a growing sentiment among prominent figures and institutions that Bitcoin is not merely a speculative asset, but the future of finance, with adoption still in its early stages. He emphasized that even with the increasing demand from financial institutions and high-net-worth individuals, current Bitcoin holders are still considered early adopters. This is because the vast majority of the global population and market participants have yet to fully embrace digital currencies and the transformative potential of decentralized finance. This perspective suggests that the current market capitalization and price of Bitcoin significantly underestimate its future value as digital money becomes more integrated into the global financial system. The timing of Trump's pronouncements is also noteworthy, occurring amidst significant corporate activity within the Bitcoin mining sector. Shareholders of Gryphon Digital Mining, a publicly traded US-based Bitcoin miner, have approved a reverse merger with American Bitcoin, ABTC. This strategic move is expected to see Gryphon trade under the ABTC ticker on the Nasdaq exchange following the completion of the deal in September. Gryphon's stock has seen a remarkable surge, climbing approximately 231% since the initial announcement of the merger in May 2025, with a further rise of over 42% on Thursday in anticipation of the consolidation. This merger, aimed at streamlining operations and potentially enhancing institutional exposure to Bitcoin mining, takes place even as Bitcoin experiences a minor market correction. The cryptocurrency recently saw a drawdown of nearly 13% from its all-time high of around $124,500 on August 14. Bitcoin's price has dipped below its 50-day exponential moving average, EMA, a key technical indicator often viewed as a measure of short-term trend strength. This technical signal could suggest potential near-term downward pressure. However, despite these short-term fluctuations, the long-term outlook remains overwhelmingly bullish, supported by the optimistic price targets from industry executives and analysts, including Trump's own $1 million forecast. The convergence of high-profile predictions, significant industry consolidation, and ongoing institutional interest paints a picture of a maturing market poised for substantial future growth. This sentiment is further amplified by the fact that even with a slight BTC drawdown, the conviction in its long-term value, particularly the $1 million target, remains exceptionally strong among key industry players and influential figures. While the hype around Bitcoin's future price is undeniable, another nation is making bold moves to secure its digital assets for the long haul. Prepare to hear about El Salvador's groundbreaking strategy for the digital age. El Salvador pioneers quantum-resistant Bitcoin security. El Salvador, a nation that has boldly embraced Bitcoin as legal tender, is now setting its sights on the future by developing a quantum-resistant strategy for its digital asset custody. This forward-thinking approach addresses the emerging threat of quantum computing, which could potentially undermine current encryption standards, including those used to secure cryptocurrencies. By proactively developing quantum-resistant solutions, El Salvador aims to ensure the long-term security and integrity of its Bitcoin holdings, positioning itself as a potential model for other nations and institutions looking to safeguard their digital assets in an increasingly complex technological landscape. The move signifies a deep commitment to Bitcoin beyond its status as legal tender, focusing on the robust technological underpinnings required for sustained adoption and security. The initiative involves researching and implementing cryptographic algorithms that are resistant to attacks from quantum computers. Traditional encryption methods, such as the public key cryptography used in Bitcoin transactions, rely on mathematical problems that are currently intractable for even the most powerful classical computers. However, a sufficiently advanced quantum computer could theoretically solve these problems, thereby compromising the security of digital signatures and encrypted communications. El Salvador's strategy is therefore a critical step in future-proofing its digital economy and its significant Bitcoin reserves. This proactive stance is crucial for maintaining trust and stability in a digital asset ecosystem that is constantly evolving. The country's leadership has consistently demonstrated a willingness to innovate and adopt cutting-edge technologies, and this quantum-resistant strategy is a testament to that vision. It suggests a comprehensive understanding of the potential long-term risks associated with digital assets and a determination to mitigate them effectively. This strategic foresight could position El Salvador as a leader in digital asset security, offering valuable insights and potentially reusable frameworks for other countries and large organizations. The development of quantum-resistant solutions is a complex undertaking, requiring significant expertise in cryptography and computer science. It is expected that El Salvador will collaborate with leading researchers and technology providers to develop and implement these advanced security measures. The success of this strategy could have far-reaching implications, influencing how digital assets are secured globally as quantum computing capabilities advance. It highlights the ongoing evolution of the cryptocurrency space, moving beyond initial adoption challenges to address sophisticated future security threats. The focus on quantum resistance demonstrates a maturing perspective on digital asset management, where long-term security and resilience are paramount. This initiative reinforces El Salvador's position as a pioneer in the global adoption and strategic implementation of Bitcoin, showcasing a commitment to innovation that extends to the very foundations of digital asset security. The nation's proactive stance on quantum computing threats underscores a sophisticated understanding of the evolving technological landscape and its potential impact on digital finance. While El Salvador is securing its digital future, a major corporate move is set to dramatically reshape how many gain access to Bitcoin. Get ready for the details on a strategic merger that could fast-track institutional exposure. American Bitcoin and Gryphon Digital Mining forge strategic alliance. In a move poised to significantly enhance institutional access to the burgeoning Bitcoin market, American Bitcoin, ABTC, and Gryphon Digital Mining have announced a strategic merger. This landmark consolidation, approved by Gryphon's shareholders, is set to streamline operations and create a more robust entity within the digital asset mining sector. Upon completion of the deal, the merged company will operate under the American Bitcoin ticker, trading on the Nasdaq exchange, marking a significant step towards greater institutional integration and visibility for Bitcoin-focused businesses. The merger is anticipated to combine the strengths of both companies, potentially leading to enhanced operational efficiencies, increased mining capacity, and a stronger market position. This strategic alliance comes at a pivotal time for the cryptocurrency industry, as institutional interest continues to grow, driving demand for regulated and accessible investment vehicles. American Bitcoin, co-founded by Eric Trump, has been actively involved in the Bitcoin mining space, contributing to the network's security and decentralization. Gryphon Digital Mining, a publicly listed US-based Bitcoin miner, brings its own expertise and operational capabilities to the table. The synergy between these two entities is expected to unlock new opportunities and accelerate growth, particularly in catering to the increasing demands of institutional investors seeking exposure to Bitcoin through traditional financial markets. The anticipation surrounding this merger has already been reflected in Gryphon's stock performance, which has surged approximately 231% since the initial deal was announced in May 2025. The stock saw an additional boost of over 42% on Thursday, underscoring the market's positive reception and expectations for the combined entity. This corporate activity highlights a key trend in the industry: the consolidation and professionalization of Bitcoin mining operations to meet the sophisticated requirements of institutional capital. The move by Gryphon and American Bitcoin is indicative of a broader trend towards creating more accessible and regulated pathways for institutional investment into Bitcoin. As the asset class matures, such mergers are crucial for building the infrastructure and corporate structures that can support large-scale capital inflows. The successful integration of these two companies could serve as a blueprint for future consolidation in the mining sector, further solidifying the industry's professional standing. Furthermore, this merger occurs against the backdrop of Bitcoin's market dynamics. While Bitcoin has recently experienced a slight pullback, with prices dipping below key technical indicators like the 50-day EMA, the long-term outlook remains robust, supported by strong predictions from industry leaders and continued institutional adoption. The strategic merger is thus timed to capitalize on the anticipated long-term growth of Bitcoin, positioning the combined entity to benefit from increased market access and operational scale. The deal aims to provide a fast track for institutional Bitcoin exposure by creating a more streamlined and professionally managed entity. These are some of the biggest stories shaking up the crypto world right now. We'll be right back with a quick rundown of everything you need to know and how to stay connected. And that's a wrap on today's Bitcoin Bulletin. We saw Ethereum ETF outflows signaling potential institutional profit-taking, Eric Trump doubling down on his $1 million Bitcoin prediction, El Salvador forging ahead with quantum-resistant security for its Bitcoin strategy, and a major merger set to fast-track institutional Bitcoin exposure. What a show! Don't miss out on any of these critical updates. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to Bitcoin Bulletin for all the latest news, and ring that notification bell so you're always in the loop. For even more insights and real-time updates, follow us on all our social media channels. Your engagement keeps us going.